Morning, y'all. It's another weekend, and today we're going to do a tool review. So I've been looking at the little, there's a bunch of different names for them: a finger sander, automatic file, small belt sander. I've been looking at them for a while thinking that would probably be a good idea, and so I bought this right here. This is a Wen Model 6307 1/2" by 18" belt sander. I bought that, and then I bought a bag of belts off of Amazon. So these sanders can run anywhere from literally like $30, which is what this one costs, or all the way up to several hundreds of dollars. And when I first started looking at them, I was actually thinking about getting one of the Milwaukee or DeWalt ones, since I have a bunch of battery power tools anyways. But I wasn't quite sure if I would get enough use out of it to spend that kind of money. So what I figured was I looked at Amazon and I found this one, and it's actually got pretty good reviews on Amazon. And this is not a sponsored thing. I bought this with my own money because I thought it might come in handy. And so I figured for $30, what the hell, I'll go ahead and buy one, and we'll give it a shot, and ever how long it lasts. If it doesn't last a long time, well, then we'll just get a higher quality one. But from what I understand, this is supposed to be a pretty decent one, even though it only costs, I don't know, it was $30 or $32 on Amazon. I can't remember. I think the bag of belts for it was almost as much as as this was. It might have been on sale, I can't remember. But anyway, so I went ahead and bought the bag of belts. And I also got this one because it uses the 1/2" by 18 belts. So even if it burns up quick, the belts are the right size to fit a bunch of other higher priced ones, so they won't go to waste. So let's go ahead and see what we got in this box here. I went ahead and cut the tape earlier, but I have not, as of yet, opened the box. Now, let me get this set up where I can do this, and you'll be able to see. Okay. So, all right. So in the box, we got one bag with some directions and some couple of belts that come with it. So we'll pull that out. Set those off to the side. And then we've got the tool itself. So we got typical wire tie on the cord. That cable is not. Grab my glasses here. So the cable is, according to it, of course, made in China. Looks like 18 gauge. So plastic, and we got this. Oh, it's already got a belt on it. Let's see here. So it looks like you loosen that, yeah, and you can adjust that part of it. Okay, let's take this off. Alright, that's better. Alright, so that's the initial look at it. It looks pretty decent. Got controls here on the end. So, I'm going to shut the camera off and give me a minute to look at the directions and stuff so I'm not telling y'all wrong things. And we'll check it out. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I took a minute and familiarized myself with the instructions. And it's kind of funny because in these instructions, there's the typical, 4 or 5 pages of safety stuff and 1 page of actual information. But it's kind of funny because there's one whole page in here, or well, this much of a page dedicated to don't use, don't break the third prong off, the grounding prong off of your thing. Don't use an extension cord that's not grounded, ground the whole thing. And the reason I find that kind of humorous is because if you look at the cord on this, it's only a 2-prong. So they probably just copied and pasted that from all of their instruction manuals for some of the heavier tools. But I just found it kind of humorous that they included that in there. So, having looked at the directions, this thing's pretty simple. There's not much to it. I took this off earlier. This is so you could hook a vacuum cleaner to it, which I'm not going to do because it's just going to get in the way. So we're leaving that off. So right here you've got a little knob. You can loosen this, and that allows you to tilt this in whatever direction that you would like for use. And then you just tighten it back down. Very simple. It's just got a gap there that's tightening down on this shaft. Pretty simple. Changing the belts is pretty easy. It's actually, you push in on the end of it here and you'll hear it click. And that button will pop out. Then you can pull the belt off and put your new belt on. And it does say in the directions that some belts are directional, so make sure it's going the right direction. And then you just hit the button here, and it releases the spring and tensions it. And that's all there is to it. I mean, doesn't seem to be any tracking adjustment that I can see on here, and there's none named in the directions. And so let's plug this thing up and see. So on the back of the handle here, you got an on-off switch and then a speed, a rheostat. So that's on. And then you can adjust the speed. And it goes pretty fast. So one thing I noticed right off the bat, when you're using this, you're going to want to be careful about holding your hand right here, which would be where you would think, because you've got air blowing out of here. That's the cooling fan for this thing, so you don't want to be blocking that airflow. So be aware of that, which you'll know it when you run it, because it blows quite a volume of air out there. And this turns pretty good. So far so good. For $30, that's pretty impressive. I mean, none of it's super heavy duty, but that's kind of what you would expect when you buy something for $30. So let me get a piece of scrap and clamp in the vise here, and we'll try it out. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I got a little piece of scrap in the vise here. It's got powder coating on it. So we'll try it out at removing the powder coating, and then we'll see how it does at grinding it down. I don't know what the composition of this belt that came with it is. The ones that I bought are CZ, so they should be good on metal. Hopefully this one is too. So let's give it a shot. Alright, so I did good at removing the powder coating off of that part. Took it right on down to the metal. Let's try this back. Let's try the rust. There we go. We got some rust here. Try it on that. Yeah, cut that rust right off of there. Alright, that looks good. So what I'm going to mostly use this for is removing weld spatter and cleaning up welds in hard to reach places. So let me go look in my scrap pile and see if I can find something with some welding on it that we can clean up. I'll be right back. Alright, so I got this piece of metal out of the scrap that was cut with the torch. It's got some nice chunks of slag right here on the side of the torch cut. So let's see how this thing does with those. Alright, I suspect that that belt that came on it is more for woodworking, but it did a good job. You can see it took all that slag off of the edge there, smoothed it right on up, not cutting me or anything. So let's try, let's see if there's anything else good on here. We can tell you what we'll try. We'll see about, you can see this is a typical cut edge. It's all rough. So we'll clamp it down in there and see if we can smooth that out a little bit. See how it does at that. Just one section of it. Like I said, I think this belt that came with it is probably meant more for wood because it's wore down already pretty good, but let's see what happens. And this is only on the number about 3 or 4, between 3 and 4 on the speed setting. So it could go a lot faster and it could go slower. But so that's doing a pretty good job, but what I'm going to do is swap this belt for one of the metal cutting belts that I've got. So I'll be right back. So this is a much better, this is a metal cutting belt. We'll go ahead and throw that on there and see how it does. It's definitely a much more rough grit. Get it on here. So we got it on there, and we press our little button, tension it up. Let's give that a shot. All right. Now, of course, what I just did is much harder work than I would actually use this for. If I was actually trying to smooth, I'd use a grinder. But we're just trying to take a look at what it's capable of, and it seems to have done a fairly decent job smoothing that all down. Now, I was not applying any pressure downward on this. All I'm doing is holding the tool and letting the weight of the tool do the work back and forth. I'm not putting any weight on that. So I'm pretty happy with it. Let me get this, let me get back over on the other table. I'll be right back. Okay, so that's it. That is the Wen 6307 belt sander. And like I said, I got this off of Amazon. And it was cheap. It was like $30, $32, something like that. And so far, the build quality looks pretty good for a tool that cheap. The front bearing up here is a sealed unit. So that should survive just fine. It fit these replacement 18 half-inch wide by 18-inch belts. So that's always a good thing. And so far, so good. We'll put this into my collection of tools and use it. And, you know, at a further date, if there's any change in my opinion of it, I'll update you. But for a $30 power tool, I'm pretty happy with that so far. We'll see how long it lasts, but it seems to be built pretty decent. And we'll go on from there. So that's it. Once again, this is not a sponsored video. I bought this with my own money because I wanted one, and I bought this $30 one because I wanted to basically kind of see how much use I'll get out of it before I spend a lot more money on a different one. But right now, I'm pretty happy with this thing. If it keeps working like it is, I don't see any need to replace it. So that's it for this video, and we will see y'all in the next video. Thanks for supporting the channel.